Well, hello everyone. I know typically on Mondays you guys get the astrological weather report for Monday through Friday, but the whole entire country was experiencing glitches and carrying on with the apps that they use for their social media platforms. And I was not exempt. However, I will give you guys the rest of the report for today through Friday. I still give my dailies on Perspectives Edge on TikTok and also Instagram. Instagram has them in full. TikTok has them like highlighted snippets. And on Clubhouse at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in Astro Top Tribe, spelled with a T at the end. You will find me there, or you can just follow me at For Sweet Face, is my name on Clubhouse, to hear the astrological weather for the weekend. Nevertheless, let's get to work and let me service you all. Let me get my notes because I had to write notes on this one because the environment for us as individuals and the state of the country is only going to get tougher and tougher the last 3 months of this year. And opposed to just looking at the chart and be like, this is it. I have to actually go through aspects in more detail. Let's put it that way. Let's see. I should have had this together before I started, huh? Well, we'll make it. Here we go. Tuesday, we have Moon in Libra. And Moon trine Saturn. And what I got for that is we've already established that astrology just doesn't stop and go each day, and then there's a different agenda for each day. The agendas that pop up throughout the days that come forward are opportunities or difficulty or strife to help us or give us that bottleneck conditions in order to push us to our destiny, right? And since I've started, the things that we dealt with 2 weeks ago are still very much here to some degree. If it's no longer in your life, whatever that situation may be, you're still dealing with the recourse and the repercussions of the decisions you've made in order to try to make things more beneficial for yourself, right? So either the change of climate will be even tougher, or you segue things out for yourself, or we have a lot more thinking to do. Moon in Libra is joining the rest of the crew that is in Libra as well. We have Mercury retrograde still. That's moon walking on everybody's life at the moment. The way that we process thought, the way that we communicate, the way that we express ourselves is going through a rehash, whether that is replanning, rethinking, unlearning how we deal with the way we go about the relationships in our life. We have Mars and Sun in Libra. Both of them are in fall or don't like to be in that space. Mars and Sun is coming into a Kazemi point. And then today we have Moon that has entered into Libra as well. Moon being in Libra is our internal state. It's how we deal with memories of the past, nostalgia, our internal state. And now more than ever, opposed to just thinking about our actions and the way we express ourselves and how we show up in relationships, now we are dealing with how do we find balance? How do we figure out the rules in which we are trying to navigate these relationships, and if they benefit us in them. All four of these planets by sign is in opposition to Aries, Chiron. Our own individual wounds are being highlighted in the way that we present ourselves in relationships to other. We have Jupiter. Nope, we don't. Moon at 0 degrees is sextiling Venus. Moon wants to find harmony with our emotional state, with the people that we do happen to be close to, whether that's any situation, business, best friends, family, associates, the people we network with, our public image, the people that we interact with. The situations are not necessarily the greatest. Venus has forgotten who she is. She came from her kingdom in Libra to be in a space where Aries rule, Scorpio. And we are reevaluating what we are doing in these relationships that we find ourselves intermingled with. We're weighing our pros and cons. Where's the benefit here, right? What are the rules? Am I happy with the rules? Do the rules benefit me in any way when it comes to our dynamic in these relationships? This is what we're figuring out. Next day. Wednesday. For Wednesday, I put Moon conjunct Mercury, trine Jupiter. We're intellectually thinking about our emotions and how we process them and how we are weighing them with our interpersonal relationships. Sun's sole job is to go forward. It never retrogrades. The moon never retrogrades either. The moon just collects more memories and deals with our soul. The sun, however, is our egotistical selves. It shines a light at where we're at presently in our lives. And right now, the spotlight, the sun is shining a light of how we are engaging and how we show up in our interpersonal relationships. Wednesday is the new moon. And we have this new moon with Mars, Kazemi, the sun, and the moon. The moon doesn't do very well in Libra. The sun doesn't do very well in Libra. Mars doesn't do very well in Libra. But one thing that we cannot debunk when it comes to Libra is it is the cosmic balancing of the scales, right? Even in tarot, it shows up as the Justice card. It has an uncanny way of being fair. It has an uncanny way of weighing me versus the other and finding justice in that. And with this new moon happening with Mars in the midst of it, with a conversation about us rethinking the way we go about and showing up in these relationships with Mercury being retrograde, we're going to be able to look far beyond what people show us at face value when it comes to how they present themselves to us and how we present ourselves to them. Opposed to looking at the bare surface of things, we're going to be able to use our discernment. We're going to have to use our discernment and look past a certain situation, the smoke screen, and look at the heart of the matter. Even when you're in court and somebody murders someone, the whole premise of court is to listen to what the events were at that time so a fair decision and judgment can be made. If someone decided to kill somebody out of the blue because they just felt like doing it and wanted to see what it looked like if somebody just died, they get the whole entire jail thrown at them. The level of remorse from the jury or the plaintiffs or the state. It's not there. However, let's say if that same person happened to kill someone because they were robbing their restaurant, the outcome is a lot different. We have to be real keen about what we're going to do. One thing's for sure, outside of money making this world go round, people make this world go round. And who you surround yourself with, and who you decide to click up with, and who you decide to be a part of their organization, their club, their marriage, or your marriage, or your family members, it doesn't matter. The people that you surround yourself with will ultimately be either a support or a weight to you. Mars is getting gassed up with this new agenda before it makes its round around the zodiac and get refilled with a new agenda when it comes back to the sun. We are getting real keen ideas about where we want to move next and how we want to navigate our relationships moving forward. We know that the landscape of America is starting to look different. The divide amongst the collective in America is being split. That's happening on a larger scale. You best to believe it is happening on a smaller scale too, and showing up in your life in some way, shape, or form or fashion. People are finding their tribe. People are finding the people that's going to help benefit them, and or they're going to be able to do what they can for the collective, the best benefit the collective with the right people. Right people. It's getting real critical, the pressure that that's being put on us when it comes to the level and quality of relationships that we are choosing to be with. Venus will be at 29 degrees at critical degree. Make the right decisions about how you go about the people you love and the people that you do business with. The decisions that you've made up until this point. Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius has been giving us another level of accountability and responsibility when it comes to how we are showing up in social construct. How we show up online. How we make our laws. Who to help, who not to help. How to socially act amongst certain groups of people. We've either been getting a lot more pressure when it comes to the duties we have at work or at home, or we've been taking more accountability for how we show up in these circles of people. What have you learned since the top of the year? What has Saturn been teaching you since the top of the year? What has Jupiter been expanding in your life where you have to readjust the way you think and the way that you show up in behaviors in a relationship? What is it that you want? What is it that you have to compromise? What are your deal breakers in every kind of relationship that is in your life? It will be able to be narrowed down even more so if you know your own individual zodiac chart and where Libra lies in your chart. Those are the type of relationships you have to make these decisions with. And Aquarius will show you the accountability that it has been asking you to take on since the top of the year. Thursday. In my notes, I put Venus in Sag and Moon in Scorpio. Moon is hypervigilant in Scorpio. Is it sensitive? Yes. Is the discernment high? Yes. This day, Moon will be in Scorpio is going to be squaring. It's going to be squaring Jupiter. I mean, not Jupiter, but Saturn. This is giving us, what did I put? Scratch that. Let me go back a little bit. Thursday, Venus will be in Sag. After we've gotten these aha moments and we have been diligently doing the work with this retrograde, Venus going to Sag is going to make people feel more inclined to find the freedom that they're looking for. We have the knowledge from the top of this year of what we've been learning about how we show up in relationships and the accountability and responsibility that we have to take on for self. We have more information. We have more knowledge. We have more mastery. We have more skill. We have more tools to upgrade our relationships of any kind. Now that you know what you need to do, now we have to walk that thing out. Are you going to upgrade who's going to be in your circle based off the knowledge and the education that you have learned, whether that education solely is in how you've been dealing with people? That's an experience that can color the decisions that you make. What have you learned? We are getting the support that we need. Are we getting brand new cards and stimulus packages and things of that nature? No. But Spirit is literally giving us a push in the right direction. You are getting all the evidence in the form of the relationships that you are dealing with. People are making real hard decisions. Should I work here? Shouldn't I work here? Should I do this in order to work here? Should I move? Shouldn't I move? Should I be with this person? Should we be married? Should I be single? I can go on and on and on. These relationships are going to shape who we are. We have to live with the decisions that we're making. Venus will eventually come in contact with the South Node. With the higher education that I know, the discernment that I've been sitting in with the relationships that I have to choose to be in. Once we make that decision and we start getting real comfortable with the decisions that we've made, South Node and Sag is basically saying, hey, this is your life path. You've made your bed. Let's make the best of it. It won't be the greatest, but you see the road ahead. You have the information. You have the higher knowledge. You have the experience. This is what we're going to do. Is it the hardest? No, it's not. But just know that with South Node and Venus coming together, there's still some things about the way that you show up in your business contacts and your relationships and love that you have to fall away from. You have to unlearn. It's not going to benefit you. It's not going to make the path that you're walking on, this journey called life, South Node and Venus in Sag, any better if you do not choose to look at your surroundings and learn something from them. You see the bigger picture and you see where you're trying to get to with Venus and South Node and Sag. We're optimistic. We're feeling better about the decisions that we've made when it comes to our interpersonal relationships. Friday, I got Mars concealing the moon and trine Jupiter. Moon will be coming into opposition with Uranus as well. This feels like that you have to put a stance on how you're moving. You've made a decision about the direction that you want to go. Moon in Scorpio gives us a heightened intuition. We know at the true essence of us that this girlfriend might not be the best girlfriend to build with or to bunker down through winter with. Let me make my exit. This job is putting this much pressure on me, and I think at this point, this is what I want to do. The moves that we're making is uncomfortable, but we see the bigger picture when it comes to the relationships that we want to have in our lives with Venus in South Node in Sag. What path do we want to take when it comes to our interpersonal relationships? We're being pushed to make a decision. These things are being highlighted more than ever. Jupiter's sole purpose is to expand, good, bad, or indifferent, to get you to see something or to learn something. That's the astrological report for the week. Things are tough. Things are only going to get tougher. But if you're willing to do the work, you'll get somewhere. The people that you had to either upgrade to or leave behind, or even the people that you have chosen to stay with, these relationships are teaching you ultimately how you navigate the world. Libra is the ruler of the 7th house. It deals with interpersonal relationships, but it's also the shadow side of ourselves as well. These people are a mirror of how you show up. What you put out is what you receive. What are you learning? What are you learning? We're getting a chance on a new beginning when it comes to how we get money and how we do our biddings and dealings in relationships. All these planets being retrograde, we've had the time to do the introspection and figure out ourselves. Once these planets start going online right after each other next week, you'll see that whatever it is that you've learned and you have been incubating up until this point, we will get a go to move forward on that path. God gives us all the gift of free will. Look at your options. Look at your facts. Look at the details. Find the truth. North Node in Gemini. Communicate. Do the learning. Find the information. Sometimes you don't need a whole 4 years of college to figure something out. Sometimes all you need is just a couple of chapters and someone to have a good conversation with for you to get that aha moment, to start doing your own research and start digging and finding where you need to be. Gemini. We're weighing that new information that we have coming into us to push us towards our destiny, to readjust where we've been with all the experience and information and knowledge that we know, the things that we have to unlearn. There's things in our toolbox that no longer works that we have to take out. Make space and make room for what it is that we need along the way on our journey. Chiron and Aries, our own wounds. The way we show up in love and business is being highlighted. Don't let you be your biggest stumbling block. because you want to cater to your wounds and what has always been comfortable to you, and you reinforce a whole entire life outside of you to cater to that wound, opposed to growing the fuck up. Excuse the language. Let's see what the tarot has to say about this week. What do I want to use? Ooh. This week don't feel like a really happy week, but I want to use the Zombie Tarot. Honestly, I don't use this very much because it's a more difficult deck for me to read, but when I looked at my decks, this one jumped out to me, so let's let God lead. A Celtic cross is what I'm going to do for the course of the week. We will dig a little bit more every day with my dailies that breaks down these days via oracle cards and tarot to get more information about navigating these days. So continue to follow to get more information. Subscribe, it'll be amazing. And to like this video as well. I heard 2 shuffles and then we're going to get started. I'll use the Hermetic Tarot to clarify if I need to. Okay. Central issue this week. 7 of Wands. 7 of Wands. It's pretty stereotypical when it comes to the depiction of this card and all other 7 of Wands. Apparently someone's coming after this man and he has a bone and he's defended himself. One thing we know about the 7 of Wands is that these people, they just came from a place where they felt victorious, only to find themselves defending their position. This is where we're at this week. You've gotten knowledge, you've gotten the understanding, you've gotten the experience, you've gotten the teachings and the information you need to make better decisions about how you navigate your relationships. And once you get that aha moment, doesn't mean that things are going to go smoothly. Once you tell that person you don't want to be with them no more, you tell that job that you're leaving, you tell your best friend of 30 years that you think that we need a break and we don't need to be friends anymore. See how these people react when they still feel that like they are still entitled to the benefits you provide in relationships. Tell me how smoothly that will go. People are going to get in their feelings. You're going to find yourself in this position, defending you. The block this week. 7 of Pentacles. Oof. 7 of Pentacles. This looks like a scientist doctor with a zombie. We are weighing whether we should invest or not invest, take what we have and run or not. This is patiently weighing the pros and cons of the decisions that you're making when it comes to your relationships. We have 2 7s so far, which is divine timing and destiny. This is spirit working way beyond what we have on a docket that we're thinking about on our frontal of our brain. Things are being synchronized just so. You just got to make sure you're in tune with your star player, you, in order to make those right decisions. That's where free will comes in. Mercury is still in retrograde, so we are rethinking, replanning, reorganizing, restructuring, re in our relationships. That's the block. The heart of the matter, the devil. The devil. Major Arcana. There's a devil on his cigarette vending machine. And the word across it is vice. What's being highlighted is the underbelly of these relationships. Why am I still codependent along this person, along with this person? Why am I abusive? Why am I belittling? Why am I not putting boundaries up? Why do I take the victim role? Why do I X, Y, Z? The way we show up in these relationships are being highlighted. I said Venus is going to go into Sag, and it's going to be having contact with the South Node. There's some things about how you show up in relationships based off of your own experience and beliefs and ideas and philosophy when it comes to money, and also the way you show up in love, that we have to unlearn. We have to unlearn. There's some things in that experience, your philosophy, and how you got to where you are and the way you think and showing up in business and or relationships that taught you valuable lessons. Remember that. Have an optimistic stance on moving forward despite not knowing what next year has to bring. You have enough information right now up until this point to make the decisions you need to right now. Once you make those decisions, you will be stepping into an alternate reality of life. It's going to be different. We don't know exactly what that means, but we know that we're making decisions to make things more beneficial for ourselves. We're not trying to be in a worse position. Who does that? But in order to get there, we have to look at our own Chiron, Aries, Chiron, our own self-inflicted wounds. What is your vice? In the past, Moon in reverse. Ooh, I like this. Moon in reverse. This is literally telling me the things that were shadowy, that you weren't quite clear on when it comes to your emotions. The smoke screens all around us. The dimly lit room called life that we were living in at one point. We couldn't quite put a finger on it. We've gotten the enlightenment that we need. We've gotten the enlightenment that we need. You have the information you need in order to make the decisions you need to to move forward. Above it all, the Hermit in reverse. There's no need to search for the answers. There's no need to do research. There's no need to be quiet. All these planets eventually coming next week. In 2 weeks from now, Mercury will be going direct. But we'll have Mercury, we'll have Jupiter, we'll have Saturn, and we'll have Pluto all going direct. These planets are going back online. That was the time for the last 4 to 6 months to do the introspection that you need to, find the answers within your own intuition and or relationship with God, and or look at your relationships and how you've been moving about in business in order to course correct. Now Spirit is asking us, once these planets go forward, it's time to step out with the knowledge that you know. Choose your path, Venus and Sag, conjunct South Node, and commit to it. Time's up. Time is up. Near future, Seven of Swords. There's a bunch of sevens in this. Bunch of sevens. Seven of Swords. With all that I just said, the central issue of this spread is that we're defending our own position. The Seven of Swords is Moon in Aquarius. Emotionally, we need to detach. Because we made the decisions for ourselves, that's the easy part. Once you get that aha moment, things are still the same. The hard part is actually committing to what it is that you said you're going to do and actually walking forward or moving forward in the direction that you see best for you. I mentioned that everybody's not going to be happy with the decisions you make for you. Because up until this point, there was a benefit from you. If you're dealing with people that has been vampires and leeches all the way up until this point, and you say, I no longer want to be your test dummy, let's see how they react. Tell me how smooth that transition from going from one place to the other will be. Or if this is business contracts or work, you say, this is what I'm going to do, whether that is stay or leave or take a pay cut or whatever. When those decisions that somebody is making for you or you're making for another doesn't benefit the other, let's see how they act. I feel like once we make our decisions, do what you need to. Seven of Swords is not always bad. Sometimes you need to move stealthy. Sometimes you have to keep things close to your chest. You have to use strategy in how you navigate from one particular place in your life to the other. It's not everybody's business what you're doing next in your life. You know who you need to talk to. You know who you need to lean on. You figure that out. Be smart. In the approach, the Fool in reverse. I'm going to have to clarify this. Why are we being hesitant? Why are we not jumping into the new life that is waiting for us, good, bad, or indifferent? Some people are going to be on the end of the stick where the decisions that somebody else made will greatly affect them, good, bad, or indifferent. Some people are holding off on what they need to do because they're thinking about everybody else. Moon, Mars, Libra, Sun, Mercury, Libra. Libra is a beautiful placement for finding harmony and being charming in diplomacy amongst relationships and this, that, and the third. However, it's horrible when it overemphasizes everybody else and not themselves. That's why it's so hard for them to make decisions. They're thinking about everybody else's feelings except for themselves. Now is not a time for that. I'm not saying thinking about everybody else in the family is a horrible thing to do. But at what cost to you? These people live their lives, and the fate that they happen to come up to, they will have to figure that out. Just like you got to figure out yours. Unexpected. The Strength card in reverse. Strength card in reverse. This is Leo. Leo rules the 5th house. Leo rules the heart. Leo rules the spine. Are we listening to the innocence of our heart and what our soul is truly trying to tell us? if you're not a person that doesn't have to worry about listening to their heart because they're in tune with that, do you have the strength, the vitality to continue to move forward boldly and confidently with the decisions that you've made? I'm not saying that this is not hard. People losing whole jobs out there, careers they've been in for many years. I just got news that a family member of mine been putting in work, and a new company just swoops in, buys it, and all their 401k, life insurance, you name it, gone. Been there 18 years, 20 years, gone. People are being put in really tough positions right now. We can get sad and be sappy about the situation that we're currently in, but you've got the experience, you've gotten the knowledge, you've gotten the understanding, you've gotten what you need to make better decisions. Spirit has given us the time to do the introspection over the course of the 4 to 6 months in order to figure out where I'm going wrong and how I'm showing up in relationships in order to move forward. Whatever decision that you've made, or whatever end of the stick you are when it comes to the decisions being made in these relationships, in our partnerships, business ships, be confident. Yes, Venus is with Sag in the Sag in the South Node. But Venus in Sag is looking for her freedom. She's looking for other intellectual and knowledgeable people. She's also looking for liberty. It didn't say the road was going to be perfect, but at least we're being a lot more optimistic of where we need to be. One thing's for sure, what we have right now is not great. And we're looking for more comfort and a better outcome for where we want to be based on where we've been. Hope, fear, catch-22 card. The sun. I love this sun. It literally shows people being left behind, or zombies left behind. Toxic people left behind. These people chose to get on that helicopter, take a higher perspective, and get the fuck up out of there. The sun is the happiest card in the deck. We have to look beyond the surface. We've been digging real deep with all these planets retrograde. Spirit has given us an opportunity to get a higher perspective about where we're at, whether that is us as individuals or the people we surround ourselves with in any sphere. If you've been learning the lessons that Jupiter and Saturn has been trying to teach us from the top of the year, you've definitely got a higher perspective about how you have been showing up in the world. Change the way, the psychology of the way you think and the way you behave. You've gotten those aha moments in order to navigate and put yourself in a better position. You had to get a higher perspective. It looks really, really good if you've done the work and you're willing to do the hard shit in order to get to paradise. Nine of Wands is the outcome. Nine of Wands is the outcome. You got these two humans and all these zombies. And this lady is smiling with putting her arm to the zombie. It's an authority figure at that. It's a police officer. Something to say. That reminds me, Pluto is in a Capricorn. That represents people of prestige, government, authority. You might not necessarily have the higher ground, Are you being pressured? There's more zombies on this card than regular human beings. You might be feeling pressured to make certain decisions. But what sticks out to me the most is that in this card, the authority, the law, that police officer right there, she's so gung-ho to give her arm out to. These people in positions of power or authority, they're putting pressure on us. They're literally recreating the landscape that we call life in America. Nine of Wands traditionally for me is the PTSD card. Like, I've been through this shit 8 times, but I have enough strength to continue on to fight another day. This Nine of Wands feels like they say, oh, I surrender, I succumb, you can have it. Don't put yourself in this position, especially all that we've learned and all that we know up until this point. You will be one hell of a person to have to come to a place of knowledge and enlightenment and try to find comfort in discomfort and the dysfunction that you now live in. You know how much hell that will be? You got to think for yourself. You got to think for yourself. The people that you have given all this credit to, good, bad, or indifferent, because they're in higher positions than you doesn't necessarily mean that they have the best decisions for you, or they can make those decisions for you. We're feeling the pressure. Don't be like the 2 humans on this card. Come into an understanding, and just because someone says that they're in a position of power or authority or have the upper hand in your regular mundane relationships, because they say, do the inner work. Make your decisions for you. If you're in a better position for you, guess what? The people that you happen to be intertwined with later down the line, they will benefit as well for you being in position to where you needed to be. I say it a lot. People say, well, I have kids and I have a wife and, I got a mortgage and I have this and I have that. If you are going through life making decisions based off of everybody else telling you what you should be doing, opposed to checking in with yourself, only you know you best. Everybody's not going to agree with what you have to say and what you think you should do for you. 7 of Wands was our first central issue, defending our position. Don't lose sight of that. You know what you need to do for self. You have enough strength to fight another day. Fight for you. And don't succumb to the pressures that these relationships that no longer work for you, you succumb to it. I thought I was going to have to clarify some cards, but I don't think I do. Bottom of the deck, advice. We got death in reverse as the advice. It will be so much harder for us to make the transitions that we need to if we refuse to let go what needs to die. We cannot take what we thought was going to work for us that no longer does, into the future that Spirit is trying to lay down before us. In order to get to the new beginning that we ultimately want, we've gotten the ideas of how we want to navigate our lives. We've been in introspection. We've been seeing our own wounds, paying attention to how we show up in our interpersonal relationships and our partnerships and our businesships. And we're making real heavy hitting decisions about our path moving forward. The process is not easy. For most people, death is slow. It's not quick. It's not been easy. But if we're more willing to let go of the control that we cannot make other people do, if we let go of the fact that everybody's not going to be on our road, we can't take them with us. There's some people that definitely have to be left behind. This is a hope for us, people. The sun, getting to a happy place, the happiest card of the deck. But in order to do so, you have to take the higher perspective. You have to do the work and realize that everybody is not going with you. Death is slow. You got to trust the process, though. And the sooner you let this go, this death card will be complete, and we can start a brand new beginning. Death and rebirth. Intuitively speaking, Scorpio rules this card. We're still in Libra season. And a lot of these planets going to move forward into Scorpio. Pluto don't play. Pluto literally devastates a particular area. It brings up all the shadow aspects of life to the surface. It destroys a former way of living, being, doing. For us to pivot and transform into something totally different. A caterpillar to a butterfly. An atom bomb devastates an area. But Spirit is trying to get us to a place where we'll be able to rebuild our interpersonal relationships from a solid foundation. A solid one. But we need to level the ground. We need to do the work. We have to toil, and we have to let die what no longer serves us. That has been the tarot for the week. This has been the message for the week. People. You know what? No. I'm going to use my Elemental Oracle deck. I'm going to pull one card. Give Spirit the opportunity to address something that I have not yet. Or maybe reaffirm something that I've already said. These cards never want to speak. Just one card. Come on, just one card. Whew. I'll just pull that. Split the deck. Top of the deck. East. Beginnings. Came out in reverse. This is where Spirit is trying to get us to. But we got to do the work. The expansion that we're looking for. 3. The the expansion and the new beginning that we're looking for. Spirit is trying to bottleneck us to choose the right thing for us. It's a process, though. You got this, people. Until next week. Find the dailies in full on Instagram at Perspectives Edge. And if you happen to want to have a service by me, whether that's astrologically speaking with the natal chart reading or tarot card reading, hit me up at perspectivesedge.com. You'll find all my services there. Also, check in on me on Clubhouse at Four Sweet Face there, and you will find my rooms that I conduct on Fridays at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, the astrological weather report for the weekend. We got this, people. We can do it. Until next week. Peace.